Hey, and Alafia. I'm Tiara, also known as Ayafa, and I'm the founder of Queen Daddy Saturn. I'm an Ianifa, a cardologer, a life and spiritual alignment coach, and a past life regression and Akashic Records facilitator. Today, I want to talk to you about something I believe people are somewhat disconnected from, and that's their own soul's timeline. This isn't a lecture, it's a conversation. I first encountered this work in 2019. I had 3 separate experiences, 3 different journeys, and all 3 carried the same theme. That wasn't a coincidence. That was my higher self being very intentional about what it needed me to see. What shifted for me was the moment I realized that I had been carrying something that wasn't even really mine, per se. Patterns, fears, emotional weight. Some of it predates this lifetime. The moment I understood that, I made a very important decision to stop perpetuating it, especially when I realized how it affected the way I showed up as a parent. That was the moment I couldn't unknow what I knew. Now, I didn't originally or become a facilitator in the very beginning of encountering this work. I sat with it for years. I let it do what it needed to do in me first. And then when I made the decision to step into more fulfilling and more what I deemed important work, this is one of the things that called to me. Because I had lived it and I knew what it could do for someone else. You might be thinking, what even is past life regression? So I'm going to break it down plainly. Past life regression is a hypnotic or meditative state in which your higher self, your Ori or your soul's consciousness, allows you to access other timelines from your soul's journey. That's it. It's not scary. It's not somebody taking over your mind. It's nothing like what Hollywood may have convinced you to believe that it is. The closest thing I can compare it to is watching a movie in your mind. You are present, you are aware, and you are completely in control of what it is you choose and choose not to experience. My role as a facilitator is simply to guide you and remind you of that control if you ever forget it. Now, what comes up isn't necessarily random. I personally like to set an intention, and my usual go-to is, what would my higher self like for me to know right here in this very moment? Your intention is the compass. Now, what are the Akashic Records? Think of it as a grand library. An archive that holds a record of every single journey that your soul has ever ventured to. Every experience, every lesson, every unresolved thread. I call it an archive as opposed to a metaphor because to me, it's a real place. I experienced before I even had language for it. I'd been there in dreams before I even knew what it was called. Now, this isn't an experience just reserved for the spiritually thrived or the advanced spiritual soul. I first accessed it early in my own journey. I was the curious seeker. Your higher self or your Ori acts as a gatekeeper, if you will. It will allow you to access whatever is for you at this particular moment in this present incarnation. Not everything. Now, just what is a timeline retrieval? A timeline retrieval is my way of presenting both of these modalities as what they actually are, one unified experience. I stopped calling them 2 separate things because they aren't. This is my attempt to demystify the work and make it accessible now, without the date and the energy. June 28th didn't come to me by accident, and it actually wasn't my first choice. But upon further reflection and looking back, I think it actually chose me. When I looked up the card of the date, yes, because I cardology everything, I actually realized it was the 2 of clubs day. on June 28th. And here's where it gets interesting. I am Neptune to that card. Neptune governs dreams, the subconscious, the boundless, the dissolution of barriers between what is seen and unseen. I actually call my one-to-one version of this work the Neptunian dream. So when I tell you the synchronicity stopped me in my track, yeah, I mean it. The energy of the date and my energy as a facilitator are all in direct alignment. The boundaries that usually make this work feel like a stretch are already down. And I believe there are going to be some beautifully genuine surprises in that room. And honestly, that's why I decided to offer this as a group offering for the first time. Because not everybody is ready to step into a full one-to-one session of this type of work yet. Maybe you don't know what to expect. Maybe you want to experience it in a collective space first. Maybe you just never heard of the work and you're curious, but you're not quite ready to go at it alone. A group experience lowers that threshold. You get to drop in with other people holding the same intention. And that energy, it adds something. So before I tell you who this is specifically for, let me just say that this work was made for the curious, the seeking. Now, how do I hold space for a group? I open by cleansing and sealing the space, setting the intention for everyone present to commune with their higher self or their spirit guides, or whatever resonates for them. There's intentional sound healing woven throughout, frequencies that support the descent and the return. Now, in a group setting, I won't pull individuals out of their experience to ask what's happening in real time. But at the end, if people are willing to share, we open it up. And if no one wants to go first or at all, then I share experiences from my own journeys. No one leaves without something to hold on to. One of the things I'm most excited about is the connections that get made in rooms like this. You never know who's going to be there, and you never quite know who is this for. This is for the seeker, or maybe the one who's searching but hasn't quite found the right door. The curious. The one possibly carrying weight that feels inherited. The one who's had an inexplicable reaction to a person, a place, a thing, or maybe even a piece of music they can't quite catch the connection to. This is also for the person who's just along for the ride. You don't even really need to believe in past lives for this to work. I've facilitated this type of work for the skeptics and the people that come in with their arms folded and then they wind up leaving with more information and with a different look on their face than what they started off with. You don't have to be deep in a spiritual practice or in one at all. I know I wasn't when I first experienced this. I was just curious. You might be asking, well, what if nothing comes up for me? I've only had one experience where my person didn't have an experience come up, and I want to believe it's because they were 13 and they are my daughter. Now that could be one of two things. That could be A, the age, which is why I made this 18 and over, or B, I am not the person to facilitate that for her because I am her mother in this life. But most people, as long as they come in open and willing, without rigid expectations about what this work is supposed to look like, will have some form of an experience. And even if the regression itself doesn't quite land the way that you had hoped, the sound healing is its own layer, so you're not leaving empty-handed. Now, what if something heavy surfaces? Before we even begin the journey, I guide you into establishing a safe space This is on an individual level. A place within the meditation you can return to at any point. I remind you of it throughout the experience. And if something stronger happens to come up for you, I will come to you personally to hold space while the rest of the group continues their journey. No one gets left alone in something heavy. That's the work. That's what a timeline retrieval actually is. And that is why I do it the way that I do it. And if any part of this resonated for you, pay attention to that. Curiosity is usually your higher self knocking. If you want to experience this work in person, I have a group timeline retrieval event happening at Sacred House on June 28th, 2026 in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, if you're not local or group settings are not your thing, then I also offer one-to-one booking on my website via queendaddysaturn.com. And remember, it's under Neptunian Dream. You can also find everything in the link in the description. And if you're catching this after the date, stay connected because this work isn't going anywhere. It's only expanding. I'm Tiara, also known as Ayafa, and this is Queen Daddy Saturn. Now remember, time reveals and masters build. See you later.